Announce the arrival of Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Dr. Hadiza Balaraba. He is coming in on the letter to reach the Special Advisor to the Governor of Kaduna State, Mr. Sorry? No problem, I'm all right here. Your Excellency, distinguished guest, may I request we please all rise up for the national anthem, please. Thank you. You may wish to be seated, please. In creating the heavens and the earth, and all that dwells within and in between, the Almighty never had to consult anybody. After all, He's omnipotent, omniscient, and merciful, one whose actions are beyond being questioned. He so wish we are here today, being the 11th day of the month of September, the year 2019, for the 3rd edition of Kabafest, that is Kaduna Books and Art Festival 2019. Distinguished guests, may I begin by rolling out the protocols as we have in our midst. His Excellency, the Governor of Kaduna State, Madam Nasir Ahmed Erufai OFR, ably represented by his deputy, the certified qualified medical doctor, Dr. Hadiza Balarabe. You're welcome. Your Excellency is equally on the entourage of Excellency, is a special advisor to the Governor, Mr. Muyiwa Adekeye. Sir, you're welcome. I've seen an executive director of Starling Bank is here. Sir, you're welcome, please. We have many professors in the house. You will get to know them in due course. Our dear mama, the brain behind what we're here today for. We call her BB, Beauty and Brains. Welcome, Mrs. Lola of Book Booze Foundation. Let's celebrate our ladies and gentlemen.
The Deputy Governor of Kaduna State, Dr. Hadiza Balarabe, commissioners here present, distinguished guests, the press, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and friends. We are utterly delighted to be back here for the 3rd edition of Kabafest, Kaduna Book and Arts Festival. We arrived in Kaduna a few days ago, and I have had the utmost pleasure of introducing some of my new staff to the sweet kernels of Kaduna corn, 212 bread, the fat Kaduna bananas, the beautiful henna designs, and of course the unforgettable balangu. And each time we ventured into town, it's always been such a privilege to discover the kindness and the warmth of the people of Kaduna State. And you see this even in strangers. And this is something that I think is often lost in the big cities that we come from. Kaduna Book and Arts Festival is a great reason to visit Kaduna State. There is much to be seen, much to be experienced, and much to love. So I would like to congratulate the people of Kaduna State on hosting an event that features so many distinguished and accomplished writers, so many awe-inspiring artists, so many talented poets and filmmakers, and so many amazing thinkers. As organizers, my team and I much enjoy showing the world the multiplicity of northern Nigerian stories. We lose so much when we minimize people and when we deny them their humanity. Unfortunately, both inside and outside of Nigeria, we are too quick to strip people of their layers, of their capabilities, and of their aspirations. We at Kabafest are committed to a festival that restores, that strengthens the region, artists and consumers alike. This year, in keeping with our promise of bringing together international guests, we have seated amongst us guests from the UK, the US, Ghana, Kenya, Jamaica, Canada, and South Africa. Yes, South Africa. But you know, I would like to very specially recognize my sisters, Sibongile Fisher, Natalia Mulebatsi, and Zukizwa Vana, who all agreed to come to Nigeria in spite of the diplomatic tension between our two countries at the moment. And yet in all of this, I'm proud to say that at no time did any of these three guests reveal their anxiety about coming to Nigeria. Many times that I have visited South Africa for a literary event, I was never afraid because I felt safe with my South African sisters. I want to say to our friends from South Africa that we, all of us, are looking out for you. We remain united and committed to doing what creative Africans have always done, which is to rise above the poisonous rhetoric and provide constant reminders that our common humanity is much more important than anything that seeks to divide us. In the program, you will also see that we have Ms. Samia Nkrumah, the only daughter of the great Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. She will be here to reflect on the Pan-Africanism that her father was so devoted to. I welcome all Kabafest guests, old and new, so I thought I should just do this little exercise. How many of you here have actually been to Kabafest before? Let's see. Raise your hand. Oh, wow, okay. How many of you are here for the first time? Can those of us who have been here before give those who are here for the first time a round of applause? I love that. I welcome all Kabafest guests, old and new, who have joined us from all over Nigeria. This year, there are two individuals amongst these guests who previously attended Kabafest as volunteers. They came, they saw, and they performed, and so mesmerized were we by their works that we have invited them back to be Kabafest guests. Jasmine Jade will share her poetry with us, and Hawa Saleh will be moderating a panel. This is how we grow. This is why events like Kabafest are so critical. Dear guests, many of you have traveled far to come to Kaduna to share your work, your stories, and your journeys. We see you and we honor you. In particular, I'd like to welcome Professor Ahmed Yerima, who joins us all the way from Ede in Osun State. We are delighted to welcome you, sir. And I've actually thought about whether I should mention this, but I'm genuinely puzzled by the fact that you look younger every time I see you. I don't know which juju it is that you're using, but share it with us writers. We need it. We don't have money, at least we can have beauty. I mean, I look at Professor Ahmed Yerima now, and I'm thinking I was so young when I first read his plays, yet here he is. Sir, very much like your work, you remain ageless, you inspire us. Nigeria doesn't do enough to honor creatives as much. It doesn't do enough to honor them, full stop. And we want you to know how your works have touched us and changed us. We appreciate you. Kaduna State recognizes your contributions to the arts, and I hope that one day soon, at this Kabafest, we will stage one of your plays. So every time I look at the program, I get incredibly excited. My team and I set out to thrill, to challenge, to inspire, and to restore. We love how Kabafest means that, we get a chance to explore different themes and topics. At the end of Kabafest last year, a writer who'd spent all her life in Osun State hugged me and said, "Thank you for bringing me here to experience Northern Nigeria. I'm going away, happy to throw away whatever stereotypes that I had in my head about the people of this region." We have brought together creative people with diverse ideas and viewpoints. And as I always remind us, the power of cultural dialogue must never be underestimated. Dialogue breaks down barriers and helps us build bridges. Book festivals, which celebrate culture, reading, literacy, the arts, are so important for states like Kaduna, which enjoy ethnic and religious diversity. The great thing about culture is that it knows no tongue, no color, no age, and no ethnicity. The arts touch us on the inside, and we learn to acknowledge, to respect, and to nurture talent and individuality. Even in the most repressive societies, culture, poetry, stories always find their way into the public space, and when they do, we are never the same again. Everyone who has watched a moving play, heard a poem that resonates with them, seen a film that tugs at their heartstrings, or even read a book that made them look at the world differently can attest to what I'm saying. It is a grave mistake to underestimate the power and the value of creativity and the arts. And we are so proud of this safe space that we have all created here together. This is a space where we recognize that everyone's voice is valid, yet we remember always that we have a responsibility to respect the validity of the truths of others. When we do this, we come away enriched. I thank the members of staff of the Book Buzz Foundation and all those volunteers who are here taking time out of what they do during the year to come and share this time with us and support us. We're grateful to them. But we cannot achieve anything without our sponsors. And on behalf of Kaduna State, I would like to thank Sterling Bank, who have come on board for the second time in a row. Not only have they awarded Kaduna State undergraduates with book grants, they are bringing the bank to us here. So if you open a new account, you get a beautiful set of books. And they've also been very helpful. You'll see the sorts of delicious food that you'll be eating. A lot of that has come from their contributions, and we're truly grateful. So Peugeot, I'm sure you've seen them, the cars, and they've got the little Kabafest stickers. Every time I see those stickers, I'm just like, isn't it lovely? We didn't do that. They did that, And what they do is they make sure that our guests get to and from events safely and in special Peugeot comfort. So I expect all you writers, no excuses. You buy a Peugeot. No, I'm serious. And Sterling Bank is here to give you credit. The thing is complete. We thank also the US Embassy for supporting our guests, some of who are joining us from the United States. And finally, I must thank the Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasser Ahmad El-Rufai, and of course the Deputy Governor, Dr. Hadiza Balarabe, for believing in this initiative, the Kabafest Committee. And of course, the First Lady, Mrs. Hadiza El-Rufai, she's one of us. She's not one of you government people. She's one of us. She's a wonderful writer and a great supporter of literacy, of reading and the arts, and her encouragement and her intervention, always invaluable. So we really appreciate that. I'd like to encourage everyone to, of course, attend these lovely events. We've got the bookstore. So buy books. The change that's left over from the cars, can use it to buy books in the bookstore. We've got the fantastic art gallery here, where we have 10 artists, mainly from Kaduna State. Please have a look. If there's still change after buying books, you can also buy art. But I'm directing that more to the people on this side of the audience. Let me pity my fellow writers and thinkers a bit. It's going to be a fabulous few days of cultural enrichment, of networking, and of fun. And I look forward to the conversations. I look forward to the hugs and the handshakes that we will share over the course of this festival. Thank you very much.
You may wish, please, to give her another warm round of applause. Your Excellency, distinguished guest, that has been the director of Book Buzz Foundation. Ma Lola, you're welcome, please. Thank you very much. I'm sure that I say some personalities are here. They are here, they come to Kaduna for the first time. I welcome you most sincerely, and I have to tell you that Kaduna is, of course, a Hausa word. In Hausa, when we say crocodile, it means kada. The plural form is crocodiles, Kaduna. That is Kaduna State. Let's celebrate Kaduna State once again, please. And for your information, our crocodiles here in Kaduna are very, very friendly. Fine time, go to the Kaduna River. You can have a hug with our crocodiles. But don't say MC Big Boy told you this, please. I'm out of it. Celebrate Kaduna once again, ladies and gentlemen, please. Then about time, we move to the next thing on the program, which is, of course, a poetry. It will be performed by Titilope Shunuga. Let's celebrate her, please, once again, please.
There's a story in my family, the mythology of my becoming. A little girl arrives at the first day of school with a letter in her pocket, firm instructions from her father about how his mirror child, his left-handed miracle, was no error to correct, no ancient curse to undo. I imagine that little girl carrying that letter for the rest of her life, heavy as an anchor, a tether against some unknown storm, held fast by her father's hand. She was his daughter, and that was enough. I could never have known then that I would peel open the pages of my first empty notebook like the curtains of my childhood home. I didn't know that I could time travel, that I would grip my pen like a hand to pull me kicking and screaming or joyful into my own womanhood, or like a shovel to dig myself out from beneath the rubble of self-doubt. I didn't know about the planting in words. I didn't understand the sowing and the harvest, how the words bloom gently in our mouths. Just give it a second. Oh, we're back. That's okay. Are we back? Almost back. Are we back now? Yes. I didn't understand the planting in words. I knew nothing about the sowing and the harvest, how we bloom these stories on our tongues, then lay them down one after the other until we are one day standing in a garden of our own dreams. I didn't know what I was digging for the first time I scratched the surface of a page and pulled up something whole from the brown earth of my hands, these hands, in their building and breaking down, their finger pointing and all the ones pointed back, in their confusion, the unknowing of their youth, in their pride, the lines drawn in the sand, the waves goodbye, the closed chapters, Pandora's boxes pulled open, these hands, clasped in prayer, pressed against the hearts, pressed against the page, searching for honest work, for a story to lay down, for the daily redemption of truth-telling. We make communion with these hands, what we break from our bodies, words we drink like wine, what we carve with our bare hands until something beautiful emerges. Because of you, I know that even though my dreams are just a speck of dust in a whole galaxy of dreamers, something in the universe still believes that I am worthy. And I am still that little girl with that letter in her pocket. And now I imagine it folding into itself like a silent knowing, like a woman emerging, like a paper airplane, like a small dream taking flight. Thank you.
Lala's creativity. Clap for her, ladies and gentlemen, please. Your Excellencies, distinguished esteemed guests, before I take the next thing on the program, I want to make a reference to what our dear guru mentioned. She said there will be sumptuous meal here. Am I right, Ma? So, with the permission of Her Excellency, the Deputy Governor, when the food is to be dashed out, I want it to be done in this way, please. There should be justice. It should be served according to individual size. The bigger you are, the more the number of plates you receive, please. If we have that. Thank you very much. Very quickly, we go to goodwill message. And I have the singular and privilege of inviting an executive personality. In all wise, when you see him, you know that he possesses the necessary paraphernalia needed in thereof. The executive director of this talent bank, Mr. Yemi Odubeye. Sir, you're welcome, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, Madam Deputy Governor, distinguished guests. I know you've not come here to listen to sponsors, so I won't take your time at all. I will try to just explain perhaps why Sterling Bank is a partner to this festival and why we're doing it for the second time. There are three cardinal reasons behind our decision to be partners to this festival. The first is that this festival is part of our strategy. We believe in a national strategy that uses human capital as the driver of Nigeria's competitiveness. So our understanding is that by sponsoring events like this festival, we're enabling that strategy of making Nigeria and Nigerians compete on the basis of their intellect across the world. That is the foundation of our decision to sponsor this. But beyond specifically, because you can take that in many ways. You can take it as us sponsoring things in diverse areas of human endeavor. but specifically in relation to theater, the arts, and all of this, what we are doing is we see the potential for Nigeria to generate a lot of foreign earnings from this industry. We recognize that at the moment, the industry is not as formalized as it ought to be. It's essentially in need of support of the like that we can provide and other stakeholders as well. And I think there are other people equally giving attention to this sector. And I won't name names, but I'm quite aware that both international and local interests of in the financial sector are doing a lot to support this sector. So that is the primary reason. The second reason, apart from what we see as part of a national strategy, is the fact that Missionary, who we are all familiar with here, is a big supporter of the work we do in Sterling Bank. She's constantly a part of everything we do, and she's been, in fact, I don't know the word to use. She's been sort of a guardian angel, if you will, for us and our business interests. So to that extent, we're proud to be associated with what she's doing here. We're also co-sponsors of the Ake Festival. Finally, a third reason is, interestingly, related to people like Professor Yerima, who is in front of me here. I was telling Lola before this started that I saw a play written by Professor Yerima called Kafar's Last Tale in 1997 at the National Theatre. He acted himself. It was a two-person piece. He acted opposite Olu Jacobs, who you all know. And that play, I will recommend it to you. Professor Yerima, if it's out of print, perhaps you should reissue it. It is extremely timely as we deal with the issues between Nigeria and South Africa at the moment. What that play is about is a chance encounter between a Nigerian professor who is at Ora Tambo Airport, and he runs into a former student of his, a gentleman called Umbulelo, who was a student at the University of Ibadan in 1977 on the ticket of the Nigerian government, being a youth member of the ANC. I will not say more, so that you go ahead and search for that play. I think Professor Yerima is an outstanding Nigerian. It is our privilege to be part of this event, sponsoring the award being given to him today. And Professor Yerima, thank you for everything you've done for Nigeria. Thank you very much, sir. So I commend all of you to the enjoyment that will come over the next few days. The food will be good. I'm sure the poetry will be equally good, as will all the other artistic endeavors we will have. Thank you very much and enjoy yourselves.
Thank you, sir. I want to call upon the next thing on the program, which is, of course, presentation of Lifetime Achievement Awards. And I wish at this juncture to invite the former president, Association of Nigerian Authors. He's a professor in his own right, Wole Akidiron. He's coming here. Let's celebrate him, please. He's doing it with my professor, a poet and a lecturer from the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, Auditi Giwa, while I request the pleasure of our dear revered Professor Yerima, as you step up here, how they take your own citations, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Sir? The citation of Professor Ahmed Yerima. Professor Ahmed Yerima holds a Bachelor of Arts degree from the University